What do you consider is your greatest sexual achievement? My first girlfriend wanted to see how many times we could have sex in one day, so we planned a duckathon and spent the entire day doing it, and doing it, and doing it well. Every other thing we did was have sex. Sex. Breakfast. Sex. Shower. Sex. TV. Sex. Order pizza. Sex. Tip delivery driver. Sex. Eat pizza. Sex. We did it 10 times in a 24-hour period. Later in life I had another girlfriend who asked what's the most I ever had sex in a day was. When I told her this she said, we can beat that. So I did the same thing again, but we didn't make it to 11. Just tied at 10. Both of them were named Ashley. Screw it. I'll be the weird person who says it. The first time someone made love to me instead of just ducking me. I'd been 10 years sexually active when it happened, and I almost cried. My greatest achievement, because I had always only wanted that, and never found it. It made me feel like I was worth something. A spring popped out of the bed and cut my leg open. Still finished. Doesn't matter, had sex. Touching a boob for the first time. It's all been downhill from there. Damn, I did that when I was 5 minutes old. I gave a classmate one of those seize your orgasms once. It was an interesting experience, but then she gave me HPV. Had a note put under our hotel room door thanking us for the nightly audio entertainment. Made my ex-BF come from poking his belly button really hard. He said it had never happened before, and I've never tried it to anyone since, but I always laugh when I think about it, and still don't fully understand how it happened. My best friend at the time had sex with my ex soon after we broke up and was still kind of working on things, who I had been dating for years. Met up with his ex a while after, who I always thought was absolutely gorgeous and had the same success. We call this win trading in the esports world. Breaking the bed while having sex. Granted, the bed was 20 plus years old and needed replacement, but it still counts. We broke one of those cheap college futons once. Still funny as it was not mine. Edit 1. Going down on a lady I was dating, and afterwards her stating this is something all women should experience. My boyfriend made me squirt once, and has been trying so hard to do it again, since I would say that is his greatest achievement so far. He enjoyed it more than I did, lol. I went to page 1289 on Pornhub. Achievement get, librarian. Gave a woman an orgasm by rubbing her nipples. I convinced a friend that thought that they had nothing to offer, that they had value, and got him to ask out a girl. Every time they go at it, I consider it another win for me. Edit. For those of you who are looking for the same thing, I don't know you, and I don't know if I can personally help you in any way. But I do have this that I can share for all of you. Kindness and compassion is something anyone can learn. If you don't already have it, kindness and compassion is something of value that isn't gated by your physical limits or your mental capabilities. It doesn't expire, and it isn't always easy, so if it is genuine, people will respond. Everyone deserves affection. The person you are wooing, as well as yourself. Be a person that spreads love and joy. Be a person easy to love and be willing to work towards it. If you do, you will definitely increase your chances of finding someone. Remember to be kind, be compassionate, and be brave. I hope this helps. At a hotel, king-size bed shifted roughly 6 inches away from where it started. Even in nice hotels I've been to, they are usually bolted to the wall. You animal. Thank you. Getting my boyfriend off while he was on Prozac. 40 years. Same partner. Neither tapped out even once. Still awesome. Dated this girl just after high school. She cheated on me a couple times. After I broke it off, she started telling people I had a small dick. Over the next couple years I ended up sleeping with 5 of her closest friends. Edit. A lot of you are asking about my dick for various reasons. I should have clarified that she was lying. Losing my V card before 40. Being married almost 50 years, and we still desire each other, get each other off with immense satisfaction. Yeah, I know. Youngsters will think it's gross. But just wait. If you're lucky, you'll be here someday. Having sex in a tent during huge thunderstorm and coming on a loud thunderstrike. Felt like I was Thor. Edit. Never had this many upvotes ever. Glad my most upvoted comment is to do with sex lol. This isn't mine, but on a UK TV show, The Graham Norton Show, when it was on Channel 4, an audience member retold the following tale. I was giving my boyfriend a BJ, and just as he was about to climax I felt like I was about to sneeze. Couple of seconds later he climaxed, just as I sneezed, and his baby batter shot right out of my nose and onto his stomach. That's called the angry dragon. My younger brother had a female friend who I hooked up with casually one night when we were teenagers. Some heavy petting and reaching into each other's underwear. She then told me she was a virgin and was ready to sleep with me. I told her she should wait and lose it to someone who she loved to make it special. Years later we bumped into each other and had a few drinks. Both now being single. She invited me back to her house, and I vowed she'd always been thankful that she'd held onto it and did lose it to a guy she loved at the time. Then we admitted we'd both fantasized about each other since and proceeded to have some crazy, drunk, unbridled sex. It was like 5 years of foreplay. Edit. Some extra details. I was 18. She was 16. My brother was dating someone else at the time. We dated for a year after our eventual rendezvous. There was a more elaborate dialogue between us than summarized above. She tentatively said she felt she was ready to lose her virginity to me. We were on the bed in my bedroom at this point. We fooled around some more. I asked if she was sure. Maybe she'd rather save it for a relationship rather than on a first time hookup. It was over 20 years ago. I can't recall verbatim. I was in university. She was in high school. We had different social circles and I knew there was no prospect of forming a relationship. I would have felt like a jerk to have slept with her then ghosted her. We fooled around some more. Then she reflected that she did want to wait. If she had said, "No, I'm certain. I've thought about this and I want it," then giddy up. Receiving a blowjob in a ski gondola with magnificent alpine panorama in front of me, and many friends in the gondola behind having no clue, and my GF going all in because she knew she only had 8 minutes to finish me off. What did you do with the other 7 minutes? Admired the magnificent alpine panorama. Didn't you read the post? I was giving my wife a session dedicated to her, and after a while she has her first orgasm of the night. There hadn't been any penetration up to that point, so she asked me to get on top and rough her up. She tells me rough penetration after an orgasm sometimes feels as good as the orgasm itself. Anyway, I get on top, and I last all of about a minute, because I'm already at 99% just from her moaning and seeing her squirm for the previous half hour. She can tell what's going on, and asks me if I'm coming, and when I tell her I'm, she starts a second orgasm, just as I've finished mine. It's so intense it feels like she's about to pinch my wiener off, and then she squirts for the first time. My wife has had multiple orgasms a couple times before, but this was the first time I had ever seen a woman squirt. I always thought it was a fake porn thing, but she confessed to me that she'd been feeling the sensation more often over the past few months and had been holding back. We keep towels next to the bed now. Edited for clarity and to thank you guys for the upvotes and awards. It's so intense it feels like she's about to pinch my wiener. If this fella here is the next Shakespeare. Was getting a blowjob while Jeopardy was on TV and got all the answers right. I can yo-yo with my penis. Was giving oral to a girl and she was obviously making all the right noises. Next thing she stops. So I kinda doubled down, really putting the effort in. About 15 seconds later she clatters the side of my head with her hand. I'd made her pass out, it was so intense lol. I ate out my wife once and apparently I was doing too good. She punched me in the forehead out of nowhere and I asked what the hell. She said she was about to black out. I still bring that one up with her. Had a surprise 3-way with my GF at the time and her best friend. Literally had to go to the bathroom to give myself a mirror pep talk. About 8.5 months ago my wife and I decided we were going to start trying to have a baby. My wife even joked around that if I could get her pregnant by February she would buy me a brand new Boston Bruins jersey. She always had this insecurity that she might not be able to get pregnant or it might be tough. I decided to make things a little spicy and banged her right on the kitchen table and she said it was hands down her favorite time. Anyway, I should get to meet my daughter in about 2 weeks. I will be wearing my jersey. Edit. I forgot to add. We ordered a baby Bruins Onishi for my daughter at the same time we ordered the jersey. A few months later my mom sent us a text with a picture of another little baby Bruins Onishi she bought as well. My wife and I almost died laughing. Knocked up my wife on our first try at having kids. First ultrasounds showed twins. I joke that we have a 200% success rate. Dude badass. My best friend ended up having testicular cancer when he was 19. So they took one nut. Scared the shit out Tammy. Thinking that can happen so young to guys like us. Skip forward another decade, and his wife and him were trying to have a kid. I was stoked they were gonna try, but I was low-key had my doubts. Nope. Ducker proved me wrong. A month into trying. Twins. Crazy stuff. Hooked up with a girl who claimed she couldn't orgasm without self-stimulation. Proved her wrong 15 minutes later. And then again 20 minutes after that. I was 22. He was 19 and only had sex once or twice with an inexperienced girl. We had an 11-day love affair. He was gorgeous. I think the hottest guy I have ever slept with. I rocked his world. He lived about 4 hours away, and we didn't have enough to sustain a relationship. But damn that was a great 11 days. I'm sure he'll never forget it. My current GF used to tell me she would rarely orgasm in all her previous relationships. She now does every time. But my most memorable one was a Dutch girl on Tinder that was around for only one night, and when we were done she said holy duck. Yes, and put up her hand for a high five. Imagine being so good in bed you get a high five. Now that's a fantasy to behold. Reaching the egg first. I won the race against more than 250 million losers. Actually, there is a decent chance your sperm wasn't first. The egg has a protective barrier, usually to repel certain genetic characteristics. But the barrier gets worn down by all the sperm going at it. So it's entirely possible you were late and just smashed him, flipping everyone off like a bastard tadpole. I got molested when I was 5 and thought I was broken and dead inside. I still do. But the day I was gonna commit suicide I decided to just make sure I was truly beyond redemption. So I paid for some, not at all good, sex. It was an achievement, because it was the first time I'll let anyone touch me since I was a little boy, and it was such a disaster that I was too busy laughing about how absurd everything is to finish that day the way I intended to. Not as good as the other stories in here, but the only one I have to share. 24 solid years of virginity LMAO. Same here. Going for that wizard status. Having my then GF come real hard on my daj and getting multiple BJs and not stopping till she called it quits. I'm still astounded by that achievement. She was 2. Edit. It was her first time climaxing. Edit #2. Now that I think of it, it happened once again in Hong Kong when I was pissed drunk at LKF and a prostitute offered me her services. She got tired, complained a bit and took my money at the end because I was going on. That's the one and only time I've ever had sex with a prostitute. She had a condom thankfully. Edit. For me. Guaranteeing that I've had sex twice. Father of 2 checking in. Edit. Rather than replying individually, I'll just state it up here. My daughters aren't twins. Unless they can be birthed 4 years apart. Yes, it took me 4 years to convince my wife to have sex with me again. Edit. There's a few comments landing suggesting the above is an accurate portrayal of my current marriage and sex life. I have definitely taken some artistic license to add levity. I quitted my porn addiction after getting married, and I haven't watched a single porn for over 10 years now. Fingered a girl in a treehouse, then came down and got a blowjob from her best friend in a bush. Should have gotten it from both. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Making $400 in one day at 50 cents a pop. That's a lot of work. I've shared this before, but it was such a unique achievement. Once I was having sex with my girlfriend after taking a shower, and I had water stuck in my ear. At the exact same time as I came, my ear popped, and I felt washed over by such a bizarre and amazing combination of sensations. It's really hard to describe how good this orgasm felt. Truly ineffable. I've tried many times since then to replicate this, but have not been successful so far. The idea/image of you trying to replicate this is quite amusing. Banging 2 women in one day, I guess. Good old times. Getting laid because I was a virgin. For the 7th time. I got an ex of mine to orgasm so hard she began spasming, like she was having a seizure, and I called 911 for help. They arrived 4 minutes later. We were only 2 blocks from a hospital. I forgot. They showed up as my ex finally stopped spasming. She was super embarrassed, and one of the paramedics looked at me and nodded before leaving. I feel like mistaking a full body orgasm with a seizure may be more common than you think. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.